Amazing. So you made it. You're coming to your first class after a week of exercises. So today we put all of these exercises together and try to make it into a flowing class. Now you will need some blocks, 1 or 2 blocks and some cushions because we're going to do some side exercise as well. So you want to have something underneath your head and maybe underneath your back too. So we start first with lying down. And you have 2 different transition moves that you've been practicing. I'm going to roll to the side. So sitting up nice and tall to the spine, roll both knees sideways and then place yourself into the floor. Now we come into our relaxation position and trying to find neutral spine. So there's a bit of space underneath the back and the rib cage is drawn down. And if you need a cushion so the chin is not too far back, then you place it under your head now, not under the neck. And then we start with knee drops. So one knee goes out to the side, the other one stays still. And I'm going to count. I'm going to count for 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the knee back in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Out for 4, 3, 2, 1. And back in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep moving. So we got very smooth movement into that hip and the other knee stays still and the hips are staying really still as well. So out to the side and then bring the knee back in again. Out to the side, one more. So we've done about 5 and then bring the knee back in again and then change side. So the knee goes out for 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Out for 4, 3, 2, 1. And then back in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep moving. Again, trying to keep it flowing. Keeping the hips stable so they're not rocking with the knee. And then coming back in. Let's do 2 more. Out to the side. Nice and smooth. And then bring the knee back in again. And then last time. Out to the side. And then bringing the knee back in again. So we can always feel a bit of core connection here when the knee goes out to the side. So coming into your knee fold. So you're lifting one knee up and then place the foot down. Lift the heel, lift the toes. And then place the toes, heel down. So this is just to keep the hips stable. We're not moving, rocking it about. And also engaging a little bit into your core muscles as you lift the leg. Because the back and hips are not changing from your neutral spine. And it's heel and toes, lift. And then toes and heel down. Softly. Heel and toes, lift. And then back down. Let's finish on this one. And then taking the toes down, coming into shoulders. So we bring the arms straight up, relax the back of the rib cage, and then taking the arms back to where it feels comfortable. Lifting the arms back and then taking them down by your sides. So lift, reach behind you, and then lift, and then taking the arms back. So we use natural breathing. You're trying to keep your chest from flaring, so it stays nice and still. And then finding your range with your shoulder girdle to see how far you can go back behind it. Don't try to take the arms to the floor. That would be quite hypermobility. So we're just trying to get them stretched and lift and then reach behind you and then bring the arms back and then all the way down. Take the arms slightly out to the side. Your hip rolls with knees and feet connected. So knees are moving with the hip and then rotate over towards the side. And then you come back in towards the middle and then you turn towards the other side. So we keep the knees and feet connected. One foot comes off the floor, so it's piggybacking on the other one. And then roll the knees and hips. And then come back towards the middle. Make sure you breathe somewhere, trying to keep your shoulder blades onto the floor, so the back of the shoulder is pressing down. And then come back towards the middle, out to the side, just creating this nice smooth rotation in the spine. And you can just make sure that you breathe. Don't hold your breath. And then back towards the middle, and then turn towards the side, and then back towards the middle. Make sure you start and finish on different sides, and then we come up to seated from here. So I'm going to roll the knees to the side, pushing myself up, lift, and then coming into waist twist. So feet either crossed or sitting on a block, or you can have a long frog with the feet together, a little bit further out if it's uncomfortable on hips, and then we bring the arms to here. So soften the shoulders, lift to the chest, and then we start turning the head, the upper back, the mid back, and then coming back the same way, and then turn the head, upper back, mid back, and then coming back again towards the middle. So I'm going to breathe out to turn, just because I'm allowing the spine to find more space. When I do that, breathe in to come back, and then breathe out to start turning again. Keeping the spine really nice and long, and then rotate back in towards the middle, turn the head, and rotate over towards the side, coming back in towards the middle, and then turn and look over your shoulder. So you can see with the arms here, we are not helping out with the arms, it's finding spinal rotation, and turn, and then come back to center, and then turn over again, and then going into your cat and tabletop. So we're bringing the hands down, coming into the cat and tabletop. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and then find your neutral spine. So make sure the head is not dropping down and you have a bit of space underneath you between the hands and knees. You're going to try to turn your hips first. The stomach muscles are going to lift, let the tailbone drop, lift into your mid-back shoulders, drop the head, and just stretch the head and tail away from each other. So we turn the pelvis, lifting through the mid-back shoulders, drop the head, and then stretching the spine back out again. Make sure you're breathing naturally here as well, don't hold your breath. And then stretching the spine back out again. So we roll to the spine, drop the head, and then stretching the spine back out again. 2 more. So roll to the back, let the head drop, and then stretching the spine back out again. So no gripping around the hips if you can. We are nice and free around the hip. And then stretch back out, and then move the hands about a bit because we're now going to go into tabletop. So knees and feet can have a bit of space, so making it a bit more challenging already. So we're going to stretch the leg out. This is now your glute muscle is going to lift the leg, and then we're going to lift the opposite arm as well. And then bring them back down, and then take the knee and hand back in. Slide the leg out, alternate, and then lift. Bring the hand and knee back in, and then back to start position. So leg goes out, we lift the opposite arm and leg, we bring them back down and return. Now you can see my foot is flat on the floor as I'm moving. Now if your foot is not comfortable here yet, you can have your toes under, but just make sure your heel is stable, otherwise the whole structure will shake about a bit. Now it is a core exercise. So as we lift, we want to lift a bit through stomach muscles here as well. So we squeeze a bit into the back of the leg and then lift, supporting from your stomach, and then back in. So glide the leg out, lift and reach, and then coming back in again. Now I'm going to stay in the position. So we glide the leg out, lengthen through the crown, the head into the toes, and then lifting the arm and leg up and looking down towards the floor. There's a bit of squeeze in your glute muscle. There's a bit of lift from your stomach muscles and the shoulder because the arm is lifted. And just stay there. And then we take the hand and knee back in and then change side. So glide the leg out. We breathe out to lift because it's weighted and we need to help the body to carry. And just staying there for a moment, just stretching the fingertips away from your toes. And then coming back down and then come into your rest position. So we sit back. Now if you can't sit back, you can use some blocks underneath to sit on, or just stay a little bit higher with your hips. And then let the head come down, let the chest soften down in towards your thighs. And that is your rest position. And then we slide the hands in towards the knees. And then we turn into seated first. Now we're going to do some leg slides. So this is, if you have a sliding mat, great. I don't. So I'm going to bring my mat underneath so I can have a space to slide my legs. So I bring the hips down. Now you can use your transition move. One leg out, holding one knee in, or come to the side to roll down. So we use this, scoop the stomach muscles into your C-curve, roll down into the floor, and then place yourself down. Taking the feet into your relaxation position again. So we start with spine curls. So spine curls here is the turn of the pelvis. So we have neutral spine, and then we're going to start turning the hips slightly, and then turn it back to neutral. So all you do is pressing gently as you breathe out, and then turn the pelvis back to neutral. So pressing, turn the hips slightly so the lower back feels like it's going towards the floor. And that is your start position of the spine curl. So I'm going to lift the tailbone, lift, push the hips up with a squeezing glutes. and then roll back down to the spine. So you turn the hip, lift, roll up halfway or 3/4 of the way, and then roll back down into the floor. So it's glutes and hamstrings, and we lift, we push the knees away to find a full lift, and then you roll back down to the spine. Now breathing really does help here. So we breathe in, and then we breathe out to roll, and then lift. Hold the top position, breathe in, and then breathe out to come down again, soften through the chest. And again, so turn the pelvis, lift the tailbone, pushing the knees away, open up the front of the hips, hold it there, and then a soft breath out to roll back down through the spine again. Let's do one more. So turn the pelvis, lift, push up, hold the position, and then soften down through the chest to come back down again, and then focus on shoulders again. So we bring the arms up towards the ceiling, turn the palms inwards, and then lifting into your shoulder drops. So both arms are lifting up, and then we melting the shoulders back down. So we lift and reach up towards the ceiling, and then soften the shoulders down. And lift and reach. You can breathe in to lift, and then breathe out to soften the shoulders. It is a release of muscle exercise, so we keep moving, lift, and then soften the shoulders down. 2 more. So we lift the arms, reaching up towards the ceiling, and then soften the shoulders down again. 1 more time, lift and reach, and then soften the shoulders back down. Now coming into your core muscles, so get yourself ready. Now we're in neutral spine, we draw the ribcage down a little bit, and then we lift the hands and then take them behind the head into your curl up. So curl up is a soft curve of the spine, upper body. So we lift the elbows slightly, and then we start lifting head and shoulders, lifting from your upper abdominal muscle, and then place yourself down into the floor. Now this is where a block under your head can help if you feel that it's a lot of effort to let the head lift off the floor. So place a block underneath so you have a bit of height to start with, and then build up the strength to lift off the floor as well. And then coming back down. So I draw the rib cage in, look towards the knees, and then place the shoulders down. So I'm going to do one more, and then we do our oblique version, which is a turn. So I'm lifting up, and I'm going to turn to one side, come back in the middle, and then back down. So lift straight up, turn towards the other side, and then back in the middle, all the way down. Lift and turn, and then back in the middle, all the way down. Lift and turn, and then back in the middle, and then all the way down. Now focusing on legs. So we take the legs into a leg slide. This is why we have the mat like this. So I'm going to slide the heel away, and then push the heel into floor to come back, and then glide the other heel away, and then push it in towards the floor to come back. So what we're trying to do is open up the front of the hip, and then pulling in from your lower abdominal muscles. So you push the heel out, and then bring it back in again. So I'm stretching out the front of the hip, and I'm pulling in from my inner muscles here behind, deep abdominal muscles, pulling in with the leg. The hips are staying stable, they're not rocking side to side, and then back in again. Push the leg out, and then bring it back in. And now adding the curl up to this exercise, if you like. So hands go behind the head, roll the head and shoulders up. So we stay up now, and then we glide the heel away, and then pull it back in again. So now we're combining the upper and lower abdominal muscle strength here. So pushing out, and then bring it back in again, and out, and then we're going to come down with the head and shoulders in between, and we lift up again, roll the head and shoulders, and then push the leg out, bring it back in, push the leg out, bring it back in, push the leg out, bring it back in, keep those shoulders lifted, and then back in, and then head and shoulders down. Have we got one more? We roll the shoulders up, we're pushing the heel out, and then bring it back in again. Push the other heel out, bring the knee back in, pushing the leg out, and then bring it back in, and then last one on this exercise, and then back in, and then taking the head and shoulders down. Now we've still got single leg stretch prep to do. This is now lifting your head and shoulders without the support of the arms. So you can always just bring your hands behind if it feels too much. So I'm going to fold one knee in, and I'm going to lift and push my fingers towards this knee. So I'm lifting up, rolling, holding the hands onto the knee, and then placing yourself down again. Two more this side. So we roll up, lift, reach towards your knee, and then coming back down into the floor. And again, lift, roll towards the knee, and then taking the head and shoulders down, and then change leg. So just fold the knee in, your knee fold, keeping the knee still, and again, stretching towards this knee. So we roll, we lift up towards the knee, and then coming back down. Remember to breathe out. So reaching, breathe out, and then place yourself down. And one more, breathe out, lift and reach, and then place yourself down, and then taking the foot down. Good. Last one to do with core muscles. So we lift the leg up, and then we bring the hands towards the knee and stretch the leg out. Now you can also place your hands behind the head and then stay into your curl up and then stretch the leg out from here. But if you have the strength, we lengthen both fingers and we stretch the leg out and then bring it back in towards the hands. Pushing out, and then bring it back in. One more time. Breathe out, and then bring it back in. Hold, and then placing the knee in, and then taking the head and shoulders down. And then change side. So we lift up, and like I said, you can make it a little bit lighter with supporting your head and then stretching the leg out. But I'm going to reach both hands. I'm going to stretch those hands towards the knee, and then push the leg out, and then bring it back in. Breathe out to stretch the leg, and then bring it back in. One more time. Breathe out, stretch the leg, and then take hold of the knee. Bring it in towards your chest, and then take the foot down. Great. Now coming onto your side. So I'm going to roll. I'm going to lift from here just to adjust my mat. So this is now where you need your blocks. So make sure that you have enough blocks so it feels comfortable to do your side series. So I'm going to take two and just to test it out. If it's too much, I'll just take one away. So bring in the knees in front, push the blocks behind you so you've got room. Make sure you've got room for your arm as well. And then we are coming into our side series. So blocks are back, fingertips forward, both fingertips reaching forward onto the floor, your bow and arrow. I'm already lifting my side a little bit here to find an even curve in the spine as I turn. So I'm lifting my arm up and then coming back down, just testing this, floating up and then back down so shoulders stay still. Now bring the hand onto the inside and then turn, rotate around the spine, reach the arm, and then bringing the arm back down again. So we glide in, we turn the chest and then reach, and then bringing the arm back down. So glide in towards the chest, turn your chest, reach, and then bringing the arm back. Two more. So we glide the hand in, turn into the chest, reach the arm, and then bringing the arm back. So this is your bow and arrow. Slowly rotate around the spine, reach the fingertips, look towards them, and then bringing the arm back down. Now coming into your oyster. So I'm going to take the blocks away. I'm going to use my arm. Now if you've got a soft block, you can use it. So I'm just placing the head down, bringing the feet a little bit further back. So I've got a nice position of the hips. Now coming into oyster, which is your hip. So working into glute muscle. So I'm going to lift the knee up and then place the knee softly down. The feet are connected softly again. And then lift, and then tap down, and then lift, and tap down. Let's do another 6, and tap down. So we squeeze a little bit into glute muscle, and then tap down with a squeeze, and then tap down. So it's here, and tap down. 3 more. Lift and squeeze, and then back down. Lift and squeeze, and then back down. Last one. Lift and squeeze, and then back down, and then coming onto the floor, flat on the floor. So we're going to transition from here. I'm going to place my legs out. I'm going to turn and rotate onto the front. So you're now coming into diamond press, which is those fingers creating a diamond shape, placing the fingers under your forehead. Stretch the legs out and hips are nice and comfortable. And then we start with just lifting this upper back movement now. So we lift the head, And then lift through the neck and the upper back, keeping the bottom rib cage down onto the floor. And then place yourself down again. So lift the head, lift the chest, peel off the floor, and then placing the chest and forehead down. So it's your back of the head, it's your neck, it's the upper back, and then softly float down into the floor. Now just see if your buttock muscles, your glute muscles can stay off. So not having to do much here. We're just trying to find a bit of movement through the upper back as you float up, softly pressing the arms into the floor, and then coming back down again. Let's do 2 more. So you keep the bottom rib cage down. So you feel a bit of a stretch onto the front. And again, lift, lengthen on the front. And then coming back down. And then we come out of here into rest position. So we bring the hands in, 1, 2, or elbows if you want to push from your elbows. And then we push back, lift, pushing back towards your heels. And then stretch into your rest position. And then we glide the hands in to change side for your bow and arrow. So bring the legs over towards the other side, bring the blocks back, and then place them. Make sure you have space behind you as well. And then we place ourselves onto the side, feet and knees stacked, block is behind you, fingertips reaching forward, lifting into your side a bit more, and then start again. So I just started with the flow, just checking that I'm not moving into the spine. It's just the arm floating up and then back down. Now bow and arrow. So we glide the hand in to the chest and then we turn around the spine. You reach and then bringing the straight arm down again. So it's glide and rotate, reach, and then coming back into floor. So it's just soft into rotation. Elbow is just below the shoulder and then coming back down. So glide in, turn around your chest, reach your fingertips, and then come back. So the hips are staying almost still, and the rotation comes from your head, and then the upper back, and then the mid back, and then the lower back, and then return. Let's do 1 more. So glide the hand in, rotate around the chest, reach your fingertips away, and then coming all the way back, and then coming into your oyster again. So I'm going to lose the blocks now and just take them out of the way. Bring in the elbow, you can have a cushion in underneath, and taking the feet in line with your hips. And then we start pushing with the hand, lifting slightly from here, and then start to lift this knee and then tap it down. So the feet are connected, but they are softly pressing, and then lift. Breathe out to lift. Breathing helps. And lift, and a little bit squeeze now, so it's glute muscle squeeze to lifting the knee up, and we lift. We do 5 and 4 and 3 and 2, and then last one, lift, and then coming into your dart. So we roll onto the front again, make sure you got a bit of space, and then roll yourself onto the front. I'm just going to move so you can see me. And then taking the arms down by your side. So your dart is toes in, heels falling out. So I'm turning off my leg muscles to start with. Shoulders are rounded and the forehead can go down onto a block or just lifting slightly off the floor. Now from here I'm going to lift my nose off the floor and then lift the shoulders, elbows and fingers, and then reach down towards the toes. And then bring the arms down and the nose down. So lift the nose, shoulders, elbows, fingers, reaching down towards your toes. And then place the hands, elbows, shoulders down. So the shoulders roll back to press the shoulder blades slide together. And then you turn your palms. So the palms are going in towards the body, thumbs down. And as you place them down again, the palms are facing up towards the ceiling. So we lift and then we stretch the arms out. And then bringing everything back down into floor. Now I'm also pushing slightly with the hip into floor, and I'm stretching the legs out into parallel as I come up, and then letting the heels fall out as you come down. So it's lengthen, reach, and then coming back down into floor. Now we're going to add breathing. So we're going to breathe in to lift the nose to the floor, and then breathe out to lift fully. Hold position as you breathe in. And then breathe out to place everything back down again. So small breath in to lift. And then breathe out to lengthen. Lift fully. Heels back to parallel. Breathe in. And then breathe out to come back down again. So breathe in, breathe out, lift fully. Breathe in to hold. And then breathe out to come down again. 2 more. So breath in, breathe out, lift fully, hold it as you breathe in again. And then breathe out to come down into floor. And then last one. So we push the hips, we lift, and we lengthen the fingertips down towards the toes, looking down towards the mat. And then placing yourself down into floor. And taking your hands next to your chest or elbows, push back into rest position, lift, and then push back into rest position. Leaving the arms in front. If it's not comfortable on shoulders, just let the elbows come down. Otherwise, they're stretched and the chest coming down in towards your thighs. Breathe out, feel the chest soften heavily in towards your thighs. And if you can't be here, you might be slightly higher with the hip, with the arms stretched forward instead. So that works as well if your knees are not happy to be compressed. And then we come back to seated. So lift yourself up. Well done. So that was the class. Amazing that you made it so far. So I look forward to seeing you in the next sessions coming after this, and have a lovely, lovely time.